We get Kansas Houston. Before the year, probably looked like a much more appealing game than here we are on game day. The number's 9.5, Houston as the favorite. Now, a little over a month ago, these teams played to double overtime. You remember that game all too well.
Don't.
How can we talk about this game tonight and not bring that up? How can we? Here we are again. Are you getting sucked in by this number of 9.5?
No.
Okay. I had to ask.
No. I mean, it's dog or pass. It's pass, though. There are a couple games I thought about today. I thought about taking the points with Wake against Duke. That's a huge number. Yes. Duke, of course, one of the best teams in the nation, if not the best team, Duke Auburn. Duke's laying 19.5 at home. I'm not laying it. That's not happening. And your favorite team, Northwestern, is catching 3.5 at home against UCLA. Those are the two dogs I circled, Wake and Northwestern.
I know. And see, they understand that. I think Ken Pom has this number with Duke at 12. And as you mentioned, 19.5. Can you get to the window backing the big dog against Duke? Because they are just smashing teams right now, including Illinois a week ago.
Understatement. I mean, they've won their last – let's look at their last 6 games. They've won by 21. This would take Michael Felder an hour to do, by the way. They've won by 21, 36, 18. Was that 43?
Against Illinois. That was the Illinois game. A good team.
I watched that game in Ireland. It was at 3:00 in the morning, and I was like, this is scary how good this team is. Then they beat Miami by 37 and Florida State by 35. The problem with that is that it makes the line that much bigger. So when you've been pounding these teams for 2 weeks, guess what? Everybody's going to bet Duke. So the books have to make the number 4 or 5 points higher. So technically, the value is on Wake Forest at 19.5. Yeah. The problem with that is they could still lose by 30. So that's the battle you fight when you fade maybe the best team in the country.
Oh, and I was way wrong. Vacation brain's still happening. Ken Pom has this at 22. And
so that's okay. That's a better sign for the dog. I would rather Ken Pom be bigger than the game number. Obviously Vegas knows more than Ken Pom because Vegas is taking bets. Like Ken Pom is a great resource, but I would if Ken Pom made the game 12 and it was 19, that's a problem for the dog. But when Ken Pom makes it 22 and the dog is only 19.5, that's actually, in my opinion, a good sign for the dog.
It's the conversation that's going to happen a lot over the next couple of weeks. Duke's great, but how great? Duke's great, but can they win their region? Duke's great, but they're not tested like all these teams in the SEC. What if they were in the SEC? What kind of record would we be talking about with this team? That's the challenge this year. The likelihood is we're going to set an all-time record for number of teams from one conference with the SEC. It might just blow it away by 2 and 3 teams. It's crazy what's happening in that conference this year. And with that, we've got conferences like the ACC, where Duke is going the entire season and not really being tested. But Illinois, they're a top 20 team, and then they just murder them. Just murder them the other game. Whereas okay, this is over. We can turn this off in the first half. That's how bad that was. But outside of the Auburn game, they don't get tested. They can amp up for that one game. So a lot of people are questioning Duke right now, and I do understand from that point. Like, as far as, efficiency, both ends of the court, they're as good as anyone, but they don't get tested like Auburn does on a regular basis.